Queen Ronavaluna I of Madagascar is perhaps the woman in human history with the most lives lost due to her actions. From the beginning of her reign, she engaged in ruthless tactics, disposing of and torturing her rivals. Her 33-year rule was marked by brutal paranoia, causing untold suffering among her population. It is estimated that she oversaw a drastic 50% to 75% reduction in the population of Madagascar, successfully fending off European attempts to dominate the country. Born in 1778 with the name Remover, Queen Ronavaluna came from a low-status family without noble or royal blood. However, her father played a crucial role in thwarting the assassination attempt on the then king, earning the king's gratitude. As a result, the future queen was adopted by the king and betrothed to Prince Radoma, the king's son. When Prince Radoma ascended to the throne in 1810, he followed the customary execution of potential opponents, including some of Ronavaluna's relatives. Their relationship was far from harmonious. Radoma had 12 wives, but upon his death in 1828, he had not named a clear successor to the throne. Syphilis is believed to be the cause of his demise, although rumors of poisoning persist. Some even claim that Radoma, in immense pain, took his own life by slicing open his throat. According to tradition, the rightful heir to the throne was Rakotobi, the eldest son of Radoma's eldest sister. Rakotobi, educated in Europe, sympathized with the ambitions of the European powers. To secure Rakotobi's future, Radoma's death was initially concealed from the royal court, as it posed a threat to Ronavaluna's potential offspring's claim to the throne. However, high-ranking military members discovered the truth and rallied behind Ronavaluna instead. With military support and the backing of traditionalists, Ronavaluna and her allies seized control of the palace, and she was crowned in August 1828. Immediately after assuming power, Ronavaluna embarked on eliminating those who had plotted against her. Rakotobi and his family were executed by spearing, while the women were imprisoned and left to starve, as it was taboo to shed the blood of female royalty. To solidify her authority, Ronavaluna was bathed in the blood of a freshly killed bull during her coronation, sending a warning to potential underminers. She declared her ability to rule a vast empire and vowed to worship only her ancestors' gods, making it clear that she would not tolerate any threat to her reign. Her predecessors' policies had aimed at modernizing the military through the adoption of modern tactics and European treaties for supplies and armaments. However, Ronavaluna distanced her country from European powers, terminating treaties with the British and imposing restrictions on missionary activities, including banning the teaching of Christianity in missionary schools. In 1829, King Charles X of France ordered an invasion of Madagascar, but the French forces were decisively defeated, leading to their hasty retreat due to malaria and political issues back home. This victory further emboldened Ronavaluna to deter future European invaders, as she displayed the heads of dead French soldiers on pikes along the beaches. She then turned her attention to punishing her Christian subjects and the few remaining European missionaries and traders. Ronavaluna implemented harsh measures to suppress Christianity, including beatings, arrests, and torture. The families of the condemned were forced to witness the horrific suffering inflicted on their loved ones. Various medieval tortures were employed against the Christian population, driving many underground. However, Ronavaluna's efforts could not completely eradicate Christianity, and upon her death, the Christian population resurfaced openly. While fiercely anti-European, Ronavaluna recognized the need to modernize her country and benefit from available technologies. In 1831, a French industrialist named Jean Labadie, who had been shipwrecked on Madagascar, presented himself to the Queen and was appointed chief engineer to the court. Under his supervision, a large factory employing approximately 20,000 enslaved laborers was built. The factory produced cannons, weapons, soap, ceramics, and cement, serving the purpose of keeping European influence at bay. Rumors even circulated about a romantic relationship between Ronavaluna and Labadie, with some claiming he was the father of her son, the future King Radoma II. Despite monetizing the military, Ronavaluna did not provide her soldiers with the typical salary of professional soldiers. Instead, she allowed her army to pillage, loot, and exploit her subjects for personal gain. This created an environment in which soldiers sought out traitors, even when none existed, to line their own pockets. Many engaged in serious acts of corruption. In addition to industrial improvements, Ronavaluna focused on codifying the country's laws and ordered the creation of the first Malagasy dictionary. Her goal was to maintain the independence and traditions of Madagascar, but this also involved replacing the trial by jury with a more traditional yet barbaric practice. Suspected traitors were subjected to an ordeal that included eating 3 raw chicken skins and ingesting a poisonous tangeno nut. Surviving the ordeal proved innocence, while failure indicated treacherous behavior, resulting in further punishment. The punishments often involved submersion in boiling water or oil, as well as incremental dismemberment. In 1845, additional laws were passed, forcing all foreigners on the island to participate in public works. While some foreigners managed to leave Madagascar to avoid servitude, the rest of the population was not as fortunate. Many individuals fell into servitude due to tax arrears and were worked to death in public works projects, such as building housing and roads. Although Ronavaluna abolished the export of enslaved people early in her reign, she continued to import slaves and imposed various forms of servitude on her own people. It is estimated that between 10,000 and 30,000 individuals perished annually due to such conditions. An example of the Queen's bizarre projects was the 1845 buffalo hunt. To facilitate the royal party's travel through malaria-infested swamps and jungles, 20,000 forced laborers were sent to construct a road. This road served no purpose other than providing comfort to the ruling elites. Tragically, an estimated 10,000 enslaved men, women, and children died from disease and harsh conditions, while not a single buffalo was killed during the hunt. Thousands lost their lives at the Queen's whim. Unsurprisingly, many members of Ronavaluna's court sought to dispose of her. Her son, Radoma II, came closest to overthrowing her rule. He had developed a close relationship with a French businessman named Francis Lambert, who had amassed wealth in the Mauritian slave trade and sought further riches in Madagascar. Lambert negotiated the Lambert Charter with Radoma, granting him exclusive rights to the island's resources. All that was needed was to remove the Queen and allow Radoma II to fulfill the terms of the treaty. Lambert attempted to garner support from the French and British governments, but failed. In 1855, Radoma secretly wrote to Napoleon III of France, but his plea went unanswered. The attempted coup took place in 1857, supported by figures like Jean Labadie. Although the coup failed, Ronavaluna responded by expelling all Europeans from Madagascar and confiscating their assets. Jean Labadie's factories were seized and later burned down by the enslaved workforce. Radoma II's actions were downplayed, portraying him as a naive young man led astray by exploitative Europeans. Queen Ronavaluna passed away peacefully in her sleep on August 16, 1861, in one of her many palaces. As the country entered an official mourning period, 12,000 zebus were slaughtered, and their meat was distributed to the populace in her honor. Radoma II took steps to secure his ascension, including capturing his main rival. However, during Ronavaluna's burial service, an accidental spark ignited a barrel of gunpowder intended for the ceremony, resulting in an explosion and fire that claimed many lives and destroyed surrounding buildings. Ronavaluna's legacy is complex and tainted by the bloodshed of her own people. Her policies led to a significant decline in the population, with millions suffering and dying during her 33-year rule. European contemporaries swiftly condemned her actions, portraying her as a madwoman. However, it is important to acknowledge her astuteness in surviving for such a prolonged period while protecting her nation's political and cultural sovereignty from European imperialism. Among the few African leaders of that era who managed to do so, Queen Ronavaluna undoubtedly holds a unique place in history. Whether seen as a bloodthirsty tyrant, or a defender of traditions against colonial powers.